Welcome to my class. Today we shall start with chapter 2, Principles of Management. Principles of Management is basically, if I want you to understand, then I would rather use two words. One is called, say, advice, and the other one is, say, prescription. Prescription which is given by a doctor, say for example, okay. So what are the basic difference between advice and a prescription? Many of you will be able to say the answer correctly. That is, advice is something which has to be followed, but it is not a compulsory thing. It is not compulsory that you will have to follow the advice. You can follow the advice or you may not follow the advice. Okay, both of them are okay. But when a doctor prescribes something, it has to be followed. It has to be followed by hook or crook. You have to follow it and you cannot escape it. So, principles of management is an advice, or you can say it's a general guideline. If you follow, you will be benefited. If you don't follow, then you might not be benefited. Okay. So, what exactly is principles of management? Basically, principles of management is a set of established rules and regulations, certain experiences of all those previous managers, those scientists, those people, whatever they have learned throughout their life, they have put these things in some books or some novel or some theories, and these books and theories are called principles of management. So principles of management, in our syllabus of Cbse class 12, we have got principles by two people. One is called F.W. Taylor, the other one is Henry Fayol. We will discuss about it in details in later. So what does this principles of management do? Principles of management is basically advises to all the managers what they should do and what they should not. What will happen if they do something and what will happen if they don't do something. Okay. For example, if we all of us know that during this pandemic time, that is this coronavirus time, we all should stay inside our houses. We should maintain social distances, and we should wash our hands frequently, or at regular intervals. And there are so many advices which has been given by various people. So what is the benefit if we follow that? We will be safe. And if we don't follow, then what will happen? Then we might be prone to some risk. Similarly, principles of management are some rules and regulations. It is not the solution to all managerial problems. I repeat, it is not the solution to all managerial problems. It is not a straitjacket solution. Rather, it is a set of guidelines which will guide your behavior, which will guide you, which will tell you what you should do and what you should not do, so that you don't face any problem. And if you follow these things, obviously you will be benefited. And if you don't follow, you will not be punished, but then your business activity will be a little difficult. Okay. So that is the major basic meaning of principles of management. Now we are going to do the topic principles of management versus pure science principles. Principles of management versus pure science principles. So principles of management and pure science principles, what are the differences? What do you mean by the pure science principle? Pure science principle means simply those those principles of physics, chemistry, biology and all that. So what is the main difference? Principles of management are basically, very flexible. They are flexible. But pure science principles are very rigid. Okay, pure science principles are very flexible, rigid, and management principles are very rigid. They are applied with creativity. Now what do you think, that what is this meaning? See, when we motivate a person, like I'll say you one thing, in your class there are so many students. You see, you will be finding the difference that when your teacher or when any coordinator or when the monitor, they talk to different people in different manners. Okay, they talk to different people in different manners. Everyone, they don't talk in the same tone. That is difference. But it is, you cannot do so, not allowed. Okay, you cannot apply any creativity. Everything over there is same and has to be adopted over there, and it adopts with the changing environment. Okay, like now you see, this time coronavirus is going on, or COVID-19 pandemic time and all that is happening. So what happened? All teachers, mostly many teachers, have shifted or transformed themselves into online teaching, like I am doing. But pure science, no, does not happen in pure science. Every time, whatever pure science principles are there, they are the same thing only. It will not be changing. Okay, so the next topic in this is management principles versus management techniques. Now what is the management principle? Management principle is a general guideline. And what is the management technique? Technique is how you will follow those principles. Okay, so they are a set of methods, procedures and so on, which will help you how to carry out the activities properly. Okay, so now we shall start. We have just now completed with the concept of principles of management. Now we shall start with nature or characteristics. This topic we will do from NCERT book. Okay, the concept that I have spoken to you, we will do from Poonam Gandhi, because the differences between management principles and management techniques are given very nicely over there. The difference between management principles and pure science principles are given very nicely. The difference between management principles and values are given very nicely over there. So we will do that topic from the first topic, that is concept, from Poonam Gandhi book. This is the second topic of the video, that is nature or characteristics of management principles. This we will do from NCERT book. So what is the first point over there? First point is universal applicability. See, all the principles of management are universally applicable. Why it is universally applicable? Because we can apply this kind of principles into any kind of organization, whether it is a small organization or a big organization, whether it is a normal household or a factory, whether it is a small institution or a big or a large corporation. Wherever it is, we can apply these principles, management principles, very easily and nicely. So that is why it is called universal applicability. Next is called, it is a general guidelines. I have already spoken about this general guideline. Now what is this general guideline? General guideline is, as I have told you, that if you follow it, you will be benefited. If you don't follow, then you might have some problem. It is not, I am not saying you that you will definitely have some problems, but you may have some problems depending upon your environment, depending upon the conditions in which you are working. So remember that it is not a straight jacket solution to all managerial problems. I repeat, it is not a straight jacket solution, or it is not a direct solution to all managerial problem, but it is, you know, a kind of guidance to you that will guide your behavior, that will guide your activity. Point number 3 is, it is formed by practice and experiments. It is formed by practice and experiments. Obviously, all these principles, I was telling you about F.W. Taylor and Henry Fayol. These scientists have practiced management for about 40-45 years each, and they have made some rules, some principles. So whatever they have learned throughout their career of 40 years, 50 years, that they have made with, you know, 14 principles, or in case of F.W. Taylor, maybe 4 principles. So these have been formed by a lot of practice, experiments and observations. Point number 4 is, it is very flexible. You can see the current situation. You can see the current situation. All banks, all organizations, even the schools, even the college institutions, all type of organization, they're all, what they have done, they have shifted over to work from home. Even many mobile phone operators are also giving work from home plans, like Jio and all, they're already giving. So you see, the moment the environment changed, they shifted. So flexibility, there is a lot of flexibility in these principles, because business environment is flexible. Next is, it is mainly behavioral. Why it is called that it is mainly behavioral? Because in management, what we tend to do is, we try to influence the people. If we influence the people, if we motivate the people, then only they will work properly. Okay, it is not something where you know, you can just punish people and they will be working to their best. But it is what, if you influence their behavior, then they will work properly and nicely. So it is behavioral in nature. You have to influence their behaviors. Point number 6 is, there is a cause and effect. Cause and effect relationship. What does it mean, cause and effect relationship? Basically, this cause and effect relationship means that if these principles will tell you what you will do, so what will happen. These principles are mainly made by observing these experiments and taking those, you know, cause and effect relationship. So what you will do, so what will happen. Okay. Point number 7 which happens to be the last, is contingent. As I was telling you in this flexible, when I was explaining you this point flexible, you know, more or less details regarding this contingent is also told. Contingent means it depends upon the future, it depends upon the present situation, what is it, and accordingly how you will behave. Remember, some years ago, 2 years, 2.5 years ago, demonetization happened. That time, you see how people were managing themselves, that was different. Okay, many people were not having money, many people were having those old notes. Then the people got exchanged, people got their notes exchanged with the bank and all that. Many people could do, many people could not do. They used to stand in the queue and all that. And after that, this pandemic came. Here also people are changing themselves. So you know, it is always the way you will be applying these principles depends upon the prevailing situation. Now everybody is staying at home, you are also staying at home, I am also staying at home, everyone else is staying at home, and the way things have changed. So the way we manage things has also changed, the way company manage has also changed, everything has changed. So it is contingent, or it is depending upon the future event. Okay, nature or characteristics of management are done, and that has to be completed from the book of NCRT. Now we will do significance, or you can say importance of management principles. We will do this topic from Poonam Gandhi book. It is explained very nicely in this book. So what is the first one? What is the first one? The first one is providing managers useful insight into reality. Now what does this mean? Providing managers useful insight into reality. Very important. This topic is very important. If you follow the principles of management, then managers will be provided with useful insight into reality. This word useful insight into reality basically means that it will give you certain do's and don'ts. It will tell you what real situation looks like. You will not be limited to only bookish knowledge, but you will also be having some real world experiences. Management principles will give you these things. Now what exactly is this thing? Like, say for example, I'll talk to you about three examples. Okay, uh, all of you might have, or many of you might have grandparents in your home. Okay, your grandfather, or you can say your grandmother, right? And then you might have mummy or daddy, or you can say uh, not sorry I mean you have your mommy and daddy, and then maybe your elder brother or sister. Have you ever noticed the way they deal to problems? Maybe your dadaji or grandfather, or your grandmother is not very highly experienced, or very highly qualified, or have studied a lot. Might not have happened, but then your father must have studied a little more than your daddy, than your grandfather. And you, or maybe your elder brother, sister, or anyone of that sort who is elder to you, might have even more. But the way people deal with different situations, with different problems, differs. This is why. Because of the experiences. Because of the experiences. So if you follow these kind of principles, you will get that in real world, if a situation comes, what to do. I'll tell you one simple example. Try to recall the time when you first came to know about this coronavirus, and that India is going to go under this lockdown. Try to remember that day. What might have happened? I'll just tell you, and you all will be able to recall. Maybe if you have your grandfather or your grandmother, they must have been thinking the first of all that let's arrange for some necessary items, say like groceries or necessary supplies that we need to keep. सबसे पहला ध्यान वहाँ गया होगा, और ये ध्यान I am very sure only the mature people of the house must have thought, not kids like any one of us. Okay, so that is called, it provides useful insight into reality. What does it mean? It means that it will help you to deal with a particular problem in a more practical and successful approach. Point number two is point number two is optimum utilization of resources. Optimum utilization of resources. Now what does it mean, optimum utilization of resources? Yes, you got it right. If you follow these principles properly, your efficiency will be improved, wastage will be less, and work will be better. Point number three is scientific decision. This particular point you should study from NCERT. it is written in a very beautiful manner. Okay, it is written in a very beautiful manner. So scientific decision. Now what does this scientific decision mean? Scientific decision means the decision that anybody is taking must be based upon science, or you can say that it should be based upon facts, figures, verifiable. It should not be just a rule of thumb. Why I have told you to study this topic from NCERT is because I will read out this thing from the NCERT book. Please pay attention. Okay, the volume may be a little lower, but you please pay attention. Scientific decisions must be based on fact, thoughtfulness, and justifiable in terms of intended purpose. See, try to understand. Such a nice line it has been written over here. It should be based upon facts. It should not be as a rule of thumb. मतलब आपका मर्जी जो होगा आपको वो नहीं करना है. It should be based upon facts and justified. It should be, they must be timely. Such a beautiful word. So timely मतलब what does it mean? That any principle, any decision that you are taking should be timely. If the decision is too late, then it is of no use. Should be timely. Okay, realistic and subject to measurement and evaluation. Subject to measurement and evaluation. Management principles helps the thoughtful decision making and emphasize on logic rather than blind faith. So try to understand. Such a beautiful line it is written. Actually, I am not having the book currently with me, so I was reading it on a different mobile phone. Okay, where I have downloaded this book, NCERT book, online, and from there, since I am not in my home currently, I am at a different place. So it should be, scientific decision means it should be facts, figures, verifiable, timely, and it should not be just on blind faith, but it should be on realistic logics. So point number 4. Point number 4 says meeting changing environment requirement. What does it mean? If you follow these principles, we will be able to meet with the rapid changes. Remember those days when GST was implemented? Huh? Remember those days when demonetization was done? Now this pandemic time. See, our businesses, our organizations, everything is able to, adopt to the changes. So it helps you to do that by the help of training and all that. Point number 5 is fulfilling social responsibility. See, 2-3 days ago I was reading the news from the mobile phone only. As you all know, Ratan Tata has donated 1500 crores to the PM Care Fund. So why they have done this? Because there is social responsibility. You must have seen many Bollywood actors and actresses, they are helping everybody. I could see some days ago that Sonu Sood has given around so many buses to transfer and transport those migrant workers from various part of India, basically from Delhi to various places. Now I could see Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi and all that, they have been trying to give about 1000 buses. We have seen Salman Khan donating very huge number of eatables and groceries to people in need. So you see, every company, be it a small company, be it a big company, everyone is doing. So this is actually inculcated in them by the help of management only. Point number 6 is management training, education and research. all management always tries to train the employees properly so that they can be updated and upgraded when time comes. Okay, so that's all for today. So today just a small revision. We have completed the basic concept of principles of management. We have studied the definitions and we have studied various differences. After that we have studied nature, or you can say characteristics. After that we have done significance. So in the next video we shall start with Henry Ford, right? Thank you.